And I just want to welcome everyone for jumping on this morning. As your preferred escrow company or your best option, thank you for jumping in. Please don't hesitate to follow up with any of us. We are here to help you guys. This is just one of the ways that we try to add value, and we're here for you guys. So thank you.
Awesome. Thanks so much, Kim. Cool. So we are talking about boosting your online presence through client reviews, which is critical. So quick backstory or just overview. As I was saying earlier, we can thank Amazon for our culture's obsession with stars and reviews, right? So if we go to Amazon and we're going to order something, typically we're going to look for the item that has the most amount of stars or the most amount of reviews, or if the reviews are really high in the stars, maybe say it has 1,000 reviews, but it only has 3 or 4 stars. We're probably still going to trust that if we kind of go through and read those reviews and decide, is it going to be a good fit? Are we going to take the chance? And that is true for all businesses, not just products, but services as well. So a way to be to boost your online presence is through collecting those reviews through these third-party platforms like Google, right? Google Business Profile. Hopefully, most of you have that. Maybe we can do a masterclass on Google Business Profiles as well next month. Google is probably the most prominent one that you guys should focus attention on when we're talking online presence and client reviews. And the reason is being Google is the #1 search platform in the world. #2 search platform in the world is YouTube. Google owns YouTube, so put the math together, it's a huge animal. But Google will hugely benefit your online presence. And one way through that is through client reviews. Another thing that we're going to talk about is the geographic location. So when you're requesting these reviews, you want to make sure that you're kind of giving your client the luxury of some pinpoints or bullet points throughout the transaction. So, what was great about the transaction, reminding them that, and then also reminding them about location. It was great helping you sell in Laguna or helping you buy in, wherever the location is, because geographic location is such a huge part of SEO and online presence that you want to make sure you capture that. So we're talking a little bit about that too. And hopefully, I talk about a lot about Amazon when I'm talking about reviews, when I'm doing these coaching sessions, because it's has anybody not ordered something from Amazon? It's like, who doesn't have a cell phone, right? So we've all been there. So that's why it's super, super important. So why do reviews matter? So 92% of buyers starting their home search online, prospects are going to be looking for reviews that verify you're a quality real estate agent. Okay, we all do it. Anytime we look up a business or a product or want to buy something, we are looking for those reviews. It is super important. There's going to be a stat in here, I think it's on the next slide, where it talks about how reviews, consumers, we are all consumers, how we identify reviews as we do a personal referral. It's like 80-something%. Okay, would trust and believe a review as much as they would somebody giving you a referral. So that's huge. The reviews highlight skills and niches like new home construction expertise, condos, land negotiation skills, etc. They give a little bit more information on who you are as an agent and gives them more insight on your specialty. So again, like your niches, maybe you specialize in new home construction or a certain area. But that will give them a little bit more insight on how you work as a business and an agent. Reviews also come with a strong SEO benefit. So this is huge for what we're talking about today in terms of online presence. SEO, search engine optimization, is a huge part of online presence. And Google is a monster when it comes to SEO. So that's why when we talk about reviews, we're going to talk a lot about Google profile reviews, because they go through and comb a ton of different platforms and sites to verify your information that then would show you higher in searches. So reviews also come along with strong SEO benefit. When lots of users mention your name online, search engine algorithms take that into account when they're ranking sites. So when we're talking about online presence, and I'll try to break it down a little bit easier. When Google goes through and tries to verify through the algorithm who you are to decide how high it's going to show you in the ranking, what they do is they go through all different platforms, Facebook, Yelp, Twitter, Instagram, all different platforms, the internet, and they comb through and try to verify your name, your phone number, your address, your business information, like all that information, which all goes into a better online presence. So one thing that I would ask you guys today, and it's not really about reviews, is to do an online audit on yourself. You should do this at least once a year, if not a couple times a year. In an online audit, you go through and you check your Facebook, your Instagram, your Google business profile, your website. You want to make sure that your latest headshot and photo is on all of these platforms. Rinse and repeat. If I see Allison's same photo on this site and this site, I'm going to automatically recognize who she is immediately based off that photo. Okay. So for me, I would recommend having the same headshot, same photo on all your marketing. Same for your phone number. It should match across all these platforms because again, Google is going to go through and comb through all these sites and try to match up through the algorithm to make sure that they can rank you as high as possible. Addresses, your bio, all that stuff is important when we're talking about search engine optimization and your online presence. Real estate reviews act as a powerful social proof. Oops, let me move this here. Social proof for your business. These people use online reviews as their main source of opinions and recommendations. Again, we're all consumers. So we take a look at those reviews. We want to make sure that whatever service we're going to be purchasing or product we're going to be purchasing, we want to make sure that it is legit. And you guys, of course, if you have any questions or clarifications or anything as we go through this, either unmute yourself. I'm happy to do it as we move through this, or you can throw it in the chat box and I'll make sure that we hit them. Why reviews matter continued. A recent Bright local study showed that 85% of people trust online reviews as much as they trust personal recommendations. So that's what I was saying. 85% of people trust online reviews as much as they trust personal recommendations, right? Those referrals. That is a huge percentage that we trust into those stars. Isn't that amazing? Again, we can thank Amazon for that. So keep that in mind. If you're trying to build your referral network or even your online presence, and when people come to find you, they are trusting those reviews just like they would a personal referral. 2% of buyers choose a real estate professional based on online reviews. Okay, so this again is why it's so important to make sure that you are a weekly basis, bi-weekly, making sure that any of your past clients have left you a review, any consultations that you have done, any vendors that you work with can also leave reviews as well. So for example, I have agents that have done the other side of the transaction leave me a review and vice versa. Because not only is it important, a lot of agents are like, well, I don't want other agents, on my stuff or anything like that. But it's important because those agents, industry professionals, are recommending you as an agent and just stating that it was a smooth transaction and then pinpoint a positive through there. Okay. So it's great for consumers to be able to see that. But the stat here, 62% of buyers choose a real estate professional based on online reviews. Huge, substantial.
Can I say something?
Yes.
Real quick? Hi, my name is Sandra. So I use HomeSnap, and HomeSnap is connected with Google, correct?
Yes.
There's an easy way to go into the HomeSnap Pro. I don't know if it's on regular, but I have the HomeSnap Pro. But it does say, leave review. Send review. That goes to every single contact you have to make it easy. So there's no excuse not to send it out. Yeah.
Yep, and that's a great platform to be able to do that with. It's makes it a lot easier. And there's several others that you can do that with. There's Rate My Agent. There's a ton of different ones that you can do that. So I agree with Sandra that that is, a tool that you could definitely leverage. And, when we're talking about this in a couple slides too, is, sometimes they allow you to text the link to the client, which is so much more, it's just so much easier for them to do it, because unlike email, right? We get so many different emails. Maybe they don't open it. Maybe it goes to spam. Text messages go through 99% of the time, and 97% of text messages are read within 15 minutes. So, we're talking about maybe sending a link to them or something like that. But leveraging platforms like Sandra said, absolutely, I would do that as well. Google says 49% of real estate consumers search for trusted, followed by experience, negotiation, personal references, speed, and brand. Okay, so 49% of real estate consumers search for trust, which we can find in reviews. We learn more about your experience in reviews. Hopefully, we're talking about your negotiation skills and personal references. 85% feel like it's a personal referral when they're looking at reviews. And online reviews can increase conversion rates by as much as 270%. Okay, huge. So again, this is a piece of the puzzle, this massive marketing and branding puzzle that we have to endure in this real estate business. But it should be at the top of your list. And again, I just want to reiterate, if you guys haven't done an audit on your online presence in the last 6 months to a year, highly recommend. Take an hour. It doesn't take too much time. I empower you. Take an hour, set it aside. You're going to just Google yourself. You're going to look at all your social media platforms. Everyone typically has a realtor.com account that we never go in and update our photos and things. Our Zillow, right? Is our Zillow updated? Are all of our listings on there? Have we gotten any new reviews on our Zillow in the last, 6 months, right? A lot of times we go in and we get 3 reviews, and then 2 years later, we're like, oh my gosh, last review was 2 years ago. So I would say Google business profiles should be your #1 spot for reviews, but don't forget about the other platforms too. Okay, you don't want Zillow's reviews to get super old. You still want to get reviews on there so it looks fresh. And it helps your SEO. So I keep talking about why Google reviews are a priority. So real estate related searches on google.com have grown 253% over the past 4 years. 253%, that's 4 years. And a lot of it, and really, I always try to relate this back to how you guys are searching, how as consumers we search. When we're like, we need to find something, typically we just go to Google Maps, coffee near me, accounting near me, home cleaners near me, painters, whatever it is. All of these different services and vendors, are growing through Google because of how we are searching. Your prospects will Google you. Think about it. Do you ever book a service without first looking up the company on Google? Probably not very often. Even if you get a recommendation from a family member or a trusted friend, Google is the first place you go to confirm that recommendation is trustworthy. Okay. Again, Google is like our lifeblood, it seems like. But you want to make sure that you are focusing a lot of attention there, because that is where the consumer attention is, between Google and YouTube. Google reviews are the most trustworthy in the digital world, plus stronger SEO. So Google reviews have been just named most trustworthy, and it's really because of the platform that they have created. It's made it a lot very easy for us to find those reviews, for us to look up services, especially through Google Maps. It's just become one of the most trustworthy review platforms in the world. In SEO, which is probably even more, because when we're talking about online presence and boosting your online presence, it really does come down to that SEO factor. And, we want to make sure that those reviews that you're getting have SEO in mind. So in a little bit, we're going to talk about how you can kind of give your clients bullet points on what they should include in that review. And if they don't, it's okay, because we have an opportunity to respond to those reviews. So as we talk about this, I'm going to empower you guys to, every review that you get, you are responding. And if you didn't talk about geographic location, or your client didn't talk about geographic location, you're going to reply to that review and you're going to put in there, you know, Kimberly, it was so amazing to help you sell your home in Laguna or wherever it is. You guys are gonna have to start giving me some other spots there that I can talk about other than Laguna, but you want to make sure that you're including the geographic location. You want Google reviews that are recent, so prospects won't wonder if you become inactive, or worse, that your recent client reviews have been unhappy. So again, I'm going to go back to when I was talking about Zillow. You want to make sure that you stay up to date and maybe getting at least one review a month on these other platforms, okay? Because it will look stagnant. It will look like you haven't been working. It'll look like you're inactive. And I will give Zillow this. They have made that review process a little bit easier in terms of who you can request reviews for. So there's an option on there that if you have met with somebody for a consultation or talked to them about buying or selling or something like that, but not an actual client, it doesn't necessarily have to be tied to a property. So it makes it a little bit easier. It's just they remarket to them, unfortunately. So, you know, they're getting emails about homes and things like that. That's the only downfall. But we have to play the game, and you want to make sure that your Zillow profiles and reviews are still being updated. And same thing for your Google. Again, if you haven't had a Google review since 6 months ago, people will start thinking, they truly do, you know, you haven't been active, or you've been off, or maybe you're not in the business anymore. So you do want to make sure that you are getting those reviews. And we're going to talk about frequency here in a little bit, because Google has changed their approval process and different requirements. So we're talking about that in a minute. Here's an example. I just want to take a screenshot of a review that I had. So Scott Fulcher was a client. This was the review that he had left, and this was my response. So I, added his wife's name in there just to make it a little bit more personable. And in my response, I added North Phoenix, Arizona, because I wanted to capitalize on that geographic location. You guys, I can't stress enough how important geographic location is. It is so important. So going forward, I just want you to keep in your head that when you're any type of SEO or blog article or review that you're collecting for your online presence, you want to make sure that you're including geographic location, because these algorithms, these search engines, Google weighs heavy on geographic location. One step even further, I should have added Arizona, right? Maybe state in there. But just keep in mind, you want to make sure you're adding your geographic location. If you already have Google reviews in on there, or Yelp or Zillow or any of these, one way to instantly boost your online presence is to take the time today or this week and go in and respond and reply to any reviews that you have not replied to since you've got them. Okay, so that's a little bit of homework for you. A couple of things. Online audit, Google yourself, make sure your photo, contact information, everything is consistent across all these platforms that you are part of. And then also set time aside to reply to any reviews that you have not replied to yet. And just be smart about your response and geographic location. So maybe you're going to go and check your Zillows. Maybe you have a couple there to reply to, your Google ones, Facebook, Yelp, wherever it is. Any questions on the response? Because I know this is one of the most underutilized tactics in our industry. We just always forget to respond. And it just shows that you care. Also, that you're in it, the business, you're active, and you truly cared about the transaction and working with them. Again, don't be afraid if you are new in the business, or you're just trying to add some more reviews to your online presence. Don't be afraid to reach out to your vendors. I'm entitled, right? Escrow Options Group. you can leverage them if you've worked with them on transactions. Maybe you're leaving the escrow officer a review, and in return, they're going to leave you a review. Maybe the agent on the other side, maybe your broker, maybe a lender that you work with, maybe your home inspector, right? It doesn't necessarily always have to be a client. It could be someone you did a consultation, but they ended up not buying because something changed. Maybe they decided to stay in the house they're in, right? All of these different reviews, one, will of course help your online presence and SEO, but two, it gives more of your story, right? It gives them different perspectives on all the different ways that you are helping people in this industry achieve their goals. So keep that in mind too. So copy and paste reviews from other platforms. So make it easy for your clients to post reviews on multiple platforms. If they've left your review on Google, copy their review and email them, asking them to also leave this review on another platform. It's another strategy. So I always get asked, well, my client left one, we're going to ask them to leave 5 reviews on 5 different platforms. Not necessarily, because we're all human. We don't want to be inconvenienced. But maybe they left your review on Google, and now you're going to have them leave that same review on one other platform, right? It all adds up, but make it easy for them. Copy the same exact review and paste it onto a different platform. Give them the link to click to then go put it on a different platform. The key is making it easy for your client, right? We're all consumers. If it's tasky, if we have to jump through hoops to get something done, it's most likely not going to get done. So make it easy for them. This creates ease for them and allows you to gain more presence across different platforms. Again, I say rinse and repeat here, but through all these algorithms and search engines, they comb through all this different platforms and all the internet space, and they start to match up things. And the more things that match up, the higher you are going to rank in that algorithm and show up in those searches organically, which is important. Or organic SEO is the name of the game. Of course, you can pay to run an ad to show up higher. It's very expensive and it's not long-term. Couple review best practices. Make sure to highlight the positive points in the transaction when you are asking. Reinforce the 5-star experience. Again, when you're asking for these, reiterate how well the transaction went. If there were some hiccups in there, avoid the hiccups. Reinforce the positive experience and geographic location. If they can include geographic location like city, this will help even more with your SEO. If they don't, you can include that in there. So always respond to all your reviews. This shows you're active and you have an opportunity to include additional details like location or wins. And, I want to talk about negative reviews too, because, I don't have that on here necessarily, but it does come up. If you get a negative review, especially on Google, it's not like you can go and have it deleted. Okay. It's virtually impossible, but there's opportunity there. And your response can be a huge opportunity to give insight to those who are looking at reviews, okay? Maybe it's a different perspective or something. You can give more details in the transaction in a very polite way so that those who are reviewing can kind of see how that was. Plus, it shows that you're not afraid to respond to negative reviews, right? You're there to help and serve. Have a process to ask for the review as soon as a transaction closes. Don't let time go without asking. Fresh on the mind is the best. So again, as soon as the transaction closes, let that review go out as quickly as possible. And oftentimes I've requested a review before we've even closed. If we get past the BINSR or the inspection period, that's typically when I would send my review request. And the reason being is because, if something else happens or it's delayed or anything like that, you go ahead and get that out of the way. But go ahead.
Sorry. I've even, as soon as we open escrow, when they're super, super excited,
Exactly.
that's when I send it. So when the excitement's up, because it's such a roller coaster, send it as soon as, the excitement's up.
Exactly. And that's a good point. It is such a roller coaster, right? It's for everyone, for the agent, title and escrow, for the buyers and sellers. It's always that roller coaster. But yes, when it's you're at that high point, ask for the review, because they're going to be more willing to leave the review, and it's going to be obviously a lot more positive in that terms. So you want to make sure. Go ahead, Allison.
Yeah, Justin, I know when you were talking about negative reviews, I know there is a process in Yelp that if there is a bogus review that's negative that you want removed, there actually is a process. I've heard many people say you can't get rid of a bad review, but if it's not legitimate, if it's a competitor who just in your farm that doesn't like you, or it was a mistake, there is a process of going through and indicating I did not do a transaction with this person, and they will remove it. I don't know if there's a process with Google like there is with Yelp.
Yelp is a lot easier. Google is a tough animal to, have anything removed. I was just in Prescott, Arizona, and we had an agent who, very much like you said, it's not even their business. It was for like a dog grooming business or something. And they're having the toughest time getting removed. It's like, it's not even close to what we do in business. So Google's a little tougher. I have, to your point, heard Yelp is very good at that. So again, maybe that's a platform that we leverage before we go all in on Google, right? It still helps your online presence and leverage that. Maybe you put a lot of time there. But I have heard, Allison, that it's a lot easier for Yelp for sure.
Thank you.
But and that's the thing, you want to make sure that if it is truly a negative review, that you do respond to that. But if it is not even part of your world or spectrum, and it's there on an accident and they click the wrong thing, you definitely want to be swift about responding and getting that removed as quickly as possible.
It's unfortunate because if they give you, a low star rating,
You immediately,
even if you address it and say, I'm not a dog groomer,
yep,
it's hitting your overall
visually.
rating, right?
It is, and we're all visual. Again, I always reference back to Amazon. As soon as we're looking at products, before we even click into review, actually dive in deeper and read the reviews, we look at the stars.
Mm-hmm.
And, I think I talked about this in a couple slides too, is, don't be so tied to 5 stars. It doesn't always have to be in 5. It's okay if you get a 4-star. It's okay. It's not the end of the world. It's human, it's authentic. It shows, that it's real. Now, if it's, 3 stars, it's still, doable. And then as we get lower, it's a little bit sketchy, but 4 and 5 stars are perfect. There's nothing wrong with that. Because think about it. If you go on Amazon again, and you take a look at a product and it has 4 stars, but it has 5,000 reviews or whatever it is, we're probably going to trust it. Even if it has 3 stars, 3.5 stars at 5,000, and we really think the product, we look through the reviews and it looks good, we may still order it. So, to that point, in addition to negative reviews, if it's a positive review and they leave you 4 stars, we're going to sit there for a second and be like, wait a minute. But it's not the end of the world. It's still is very real and makes you look cute. So again, you just want to make sure you have a process. That's the biggest thing in our business, is having process set up. Okay. What's your process look like when you go under contract? What's your process in following up with your database and clients, right? It's all about process, and reviews are no different. What does that process look like? At what point in the transaction are you requesting that review? Okay. Asking for a review via text will always get a better response. It's just easier to quickly handle it via mobile. Again, if you have a link and you can get your Google Business Profile review link from your profile, or your Zillow review link, or your Yelp review link, or Facebook, right? You get that link and then you text that to the client to leave the review via text message. Okay, the likelihood that they're going to do it right then and there is much higher than if you're sending an email. It gets lost in their spam, it gets buried in their emails. Text message reviews are requests are ideal. So I would definitely put a lot of focus there. Send follow-up requests for those who have not left a review every 30 to 60 days after the initial ask. Switch up the message or include a video contest for those who have not left a review. I feel like I am bleeding video because it is so important in our business I really look at where consumer attention is, and video is there. Okay, we did YouTube shorts, we talked about video stats. I mean, it's plain and simple, video is there. So maybe you're sending a video request, hey, Allison, it's Justin. It's been so amazing working with you, being able to sell your home in, X location. If you could click the link in the text message to leave me a quick review, I'd really appreciate it. Whatever it is, maybe you get a little bit more personal. Maybe they just had a new kid and so excited for your new family to start, or right, you add little details in there that gets them excited and just fills that trust to be able to do and leave that review. But videos obviously get a lot higher response. Maybe it's a contest. Hey, I'm doing a contest to see if I can get more reviews than my competitor, or, in my office, my brokerage, we're doing a competition. I'd really appreciate if you could leave me a review. I'll be picking a winner. And I don't know your guys' market of what you can do in there, but I've done things where I've given a Starbucks gift card away or something for that. But again, I don't know the legals of your state, so just make sure it's all compliant. Leverage these reviews across your social media platforms, your website, marketing materials, email campaigns. So again, as you get these reviews in, you want to make sure you're posting them on your social media. You want to make sure that maybe you have a widget added to your website, so they're automatically loaded to your website. You're adding them to your flyers, maybe open house flyers, your listing presentation. You have your review set out there too. Any email campaigns, latest client success story. Those are always great for consumers to see. And then it's just easy content for you to be able to put out. And we're going to talk about video again here. Select a few clients that would be willing to do a video review and success story for you. You don't necessarily have to be in the video with them. Maybe they're just creating the video and sending it to you. It would be awesome for you to be there. In the video with them. Hey, it's Justin. I'm here with Allison. We helped her sell her home in wherever it is. And she'd like to say a couple words, and then they can go through and highlight you. These are awesome because these are evergreen. You can put them on your YouTube channel. You can put them on your website. You can text them out for new clients. Add them as a QR code on your flyers. Listen or watch my latest client success story. And then they can easily take a look at those. They're monumental to have your mix of testimonials that will help convert new business. And last bullet point here is focus on getting reviews across 2 to 3 different platforms. Okay. Google would always be my number one, just because I know that that's where the SEO and algorithms are right now and how large they are on the search side of it. And then actually, I would probably, before Facebook, Allison said it earlier, I would probably do Yelp. Okay, I would probably do Yelp. So Google, Yelp, and then I'd get into Facebook. And of course, I don't want to leave Zillow out. Every agent has their own feelings on Zillow. Use the platform. It has huge reach. It's unbelievable. You still need to leverage it. Make sure that you're getting those updated there too. But choose 2 or 3 different platforms and just focus on those. Okay, you don't need to be on 18 different sites trying to get reviews. 2 or 3 will work just fine. I want to include a quick text or email template. The text is kind of long now, but email, maybe it says something like, Allison, thank you so much for choosing me as a real estate agent and helping you sell your home in city or subdivision. I enjoyed working with you and hope you are beyond happy with the transaction. Here's a link to my review page. You insert the link right then and there. I appreciate you taking the time to give me feedback, and I look forward to reading your experience. Very similar with text message, although I would advise you try texting first before email, just because of that 99% send rate, and then 97% of our messages are read within that 15 minutes. But again, you could say, hi, Allison, I really enjoyed working with you and would be so thankful if you took just a moment to leave me a quick review about your experience. This really helps me, helps my business and those considering working with me. That is key. That's where one sentence that I have found success in. This really helps my business and those considering working with me. Okay, it's a great line to put in there. And then here's a direct link. Talk soon, your name. Okay, so just a couple of quick things. It doesn't have to be complicated. It doesn't even need to be that long. It could be much quicker. And you can add those in there.
And Justin, and this kind of ties off a little bit with what Sandra was saying earlier. I know a lender who is just a master at getting really good reviews, and he starts at the pre-transaction and
Yeah.
says to the client, I am going to ask for a review. If there is any moment in this process that you don't feel you could give me 5 stars, could you please reach out to me immediately so I can address it?
Yes, absolutely. It's always great. I mean, just like we did earlier, we talked, it's always great to do it before it actually closes, because the likelihood of getting them to do it before it closes, right? If somebody closes on a home, their mind is elsewhere. They're unpacking, or they're remodeling, or whatever it is that they need to be doing, their mind is elsewhere. So if you can do it at the beginning of the transaction or middle, that is ideal. And I love that, because I've actually heard lenders say that too, is if there's anything at any moment during this transaction or process that you feel like I'm not giving you 5-star service, please call me, please reach out to me. And I want to make sure that it gets corrected. Okay. It's just great customer service to be able to do it that way. So I agree. I would actually challenge you all to do it before or during the transaction. Add that into your process for sure. Some strategies to get even more reviews, right? We talked about this earlier. Leverage other industry professionals. So maybe after closing the transaction, with other real estate professionals or vendors, ask them to leave you a review, and in return, you would do the same for them. This allows you to increase your reviews even more with industry professionals giving you recommendations. Again, this kind of was a game changer for me in terms of review count and, getting that SEO boost of online presence. Is early on, I've been licensed since 2016. So shortly after my, first few transactions, I had an agent, a team that had reached out and said, hey, it was great working with you. Would you mind leaving us a review? And we'll do the same for you. And so I went to their profile and I started seeing, all the different interactions. And I thought, wow, that is one way to really boost the reviews you're getting. And it gives consumers an insight. If other industry professionals are trusting you, why wouldn't an actual buyer or seller trust you in that? So again, a lot of times we're afraid to send out certain things to agents because we're like, oh, agent to agent, like that's not going to bring me any business. Not true. It can substantially help your business, especially through these reviews. So leverage that. If it's a great transaction, you had a great, deal with another agent on the other side, definitely reach out to them and, ask them for a review, and in exchange, leave them a review as well. Same for title and escrow. Same for lenders, right? All those different vendors, if you have great partnerships, reach out to them. I'm sure they are more than happy to make a win-win situation for you guys. Reward the action. Again, I made this based off Arizona, Nevada, but California, if you're able to do it, certainly do. You can always reward the action. Maybe you're creating a giveaway or a contest for your clients so that every review they leave on each platform, they're given another entry into the giveaway. So if they leave you a review on Google and Facebook, they get 2 entries. If they leave you a review on Google, Facebook, and Zillow, they get 3, and so on. And then they have more chances to win whatever the giveaway is. Again, it doesn't have to be complicated. It could be coffee. It could be, whatever, so cookies, or, we have crumble cookie here that we're all obsessed with. Whatever it is, maybe you create a little fun contest for them. Maybe a nice video, right? And you're sending this out. Hey, I'm doing a contest. I'd love to get you entered in. If you could leave me a review, for every review you leave, you'll get another entry in. Maybe go live on Facebook or Instagram and announce it, right? Different ways that you can kind of leverage those to get more in there. Talked about video. Is everyone on the call making video now after last week's YouTube shorts? So you can create a video asking your client to leave a review with the link in the text when you send the video. Creating and sending a short video makes it more personable and can be specific with their transaction. Make sure to include the link in the text or email so they can easily click and review. Video is just substantial. So it's just an easier way for you to be able to be personable and face-to-face without actually being face-to-face. If you're a brand new agent, I get this question all the time. I don't have any clients. Who am I going to ask for reviews for? So you have an opportunity to ask for reviews from previous careers. So leverage these experiences and colleagues that would be willing to leave a review of their experience in working with you as a person/profession. So if you were in, retail was my previous life. So I had reached out to, regional managers, district managers, things like that to get their review from me, right? Again, a lot of things in previous careers or other industries translate over into real estate. It's very much a relationship business, customer service. There's a lot of things, management, there's a lot of things that translate over. So if you're a new agent and you have experience in other industries, don't be afraid to ask those professionals to leave you a review as well, right? It's a good way to, an easy way to either start your reviews or to boost them as well. Again, reach out to your vendors. So here's my challenge for everyone on the call. Okay, I talked about homework earlier. We all love homework, right? Nobody does. But we're here to grow our business. We're here to do better. And I want to challenge everyone on the call to get 10 new reviews this week. Now, I'm going to clarify that. Because I do not want you to go to Google and request 10 reviews today because your page will be shut down. Okay. Now, Alice and I were talking about earlier, Yelp being easier and Google's a little bit more. In the last 12 months, they've become stricter in terms of flagging spam and things like that. So 10 reviews means spread it out. Couple reviews on Google, couple reviews on your Zillow, probably needs to be refreshed anyways, couple reviews on Facebook, couple reviews on Yelp, right? You can spread it out a little bit. But I challenge you to request and get 10 new reviews in the next 7 days. I challenge you to take the time to do that online presence, that audit, okay? Take the hour, Google yourself, make sure that your social media profiles are up to date. Are the hours correct? Is your contact information correct? Are your header images still relevant? Do they look outdated? Are your photos consistent across all these platforms? Okay, maybe you're going to take a look at your Google business profile, your Facebook, Instagram, if you're doing TikToks, your YouTube, Yelp, right? It's a lot. Your realtor.com, your Zillow profile, right? Make a list and then go through and check off. And actually, I have an online presence audit packet that I will share with the EOG team, and they can always send that out to you guys as well. So it's just a checklist of where you need to go and make sure that you do that. But those would be my 2 challenges for you this week, is 1, to do your online presence audit, and 2, to take a look at your reviews and get 10 new reviews. I would even be a little empathetic and say that some of those 10 reviews could be your replies, because that's equally important. Okay, so as you're doing your online presence and you're taking a look at your reviews, if there are any reviews that you have not replied to, make it a priority to reply to them. Allison, do you want to say something?
Oh, yes, I wanted to ask you a couple things. One, if there's an easy way, maybe sending links so that your customers can copy paste into each of the different platforms the same review, or is there a tool that does that for you? And then part 2 is, could you talk a little bit about Rate My Agent? Because I did have some clients ask if you were going to chat about that a bit today.
Yeah, no, we can definitely talk about that. So the first part, the reviews, there's not really a platform. I mean, kind of Rate My Agent, you can collect reviews from all these different platforms, and it puts it into one so you can showcase them. But to the first part of your question, what I would do is I would ask for the review, whether it's email, or it's probably gonna be easier in email in this sense. And I would include my Google business profile link, include my Facebook link, include my Zillow link, and say, I would appreciate so much if you copied and pasted this, or if you left me a review on these platforms, and you're giving them the links right then and there to make it easier for them. You can say, if you left a review on all three, you are literally my best client. But if you can choose a couple or even just one, I would so appreciate it. It would mean a lot to me. That's how I've laid it out in the past. And I just save that email template. So a lot of times in Gmail or Outlook, you can save these templates or signatures. And I would just go in and add that to there, and then it's automatically added. Rate My Agent is an awesome platform. I really love it. And the reason I love it is because it allows you to collect all the reviews on these third-party platforms and kind of funnels them into one platform. Okay. So it is connected to your MLS. So anytime you have a transaction closed, it will allow you to, just click a button and say, send this client an email, or send this client a review request based on that transaction. And so it'll allow you to request those reviews directly from the platform, and it'll pull it in. And then you can also request to have your Google Business Profile reviews, your Zillow, your Facebook funneled in. You can connect it to the platform and funnel in. And then they give you these cool little widgets that you can add to your website, or a QR code that consumers can go and read the reviews. The one negative that I would say, and this is probably only the one, is you can't necessarily, if you're requesting reviews directly from Rate My Agent, it's not coming from a third-party platform, you can't push that to one of those third-party platforms, okay? So if you're requesting it directly from Rate My Agent, it's not like you can then take that and push it to Google Business Pro or to your Zillow page, okay? They're just leaving it on Rate My Agent. That's the platform they're leaving the review on. They allow you to pull in reviews from other platforms, but they won't allow you reviews that are left on Rate My Agent to be pushed to Google or those others. Does that make sense? It's kind of because that's one question that came up. That's probably the only negative for me, because they're third-party platforms. They're not going to let somebody else go in and push a review to that. However, Rate My Agent gives you a lot of really cool templates, a lot of cool widgets, and ways that you can share those reviews across all your marketing materials. And some brokerages include it as one of the tools, different version of it as a tool. So check with your broker, and you may already have a version of Rate My Agent available. So take advantage of it that way too.
Is there a benefit of your customer going to Yelp or going to Google to leave the review versus you sending them a link?
No, not necessarily. No, because that link will be technically, the URL will say Google or it will say Yelp, and a long URL. Having them go directly, not necessarily, because then they're going to have to search for your name and try to find you that way. Again, I would make it as easy as possible for them and send them the link. And the other point is why I would use those third parties directly is because those are big names, right? People know and trust Google. They know and trust Yelp. If you're sending, and this is nothing bad about Rate My Agent, but if you send Rate My Agent, it might not translate like, well, what is this? Like immediately we see a Google link or something, we know Google, we know Yelp and things like that. Consumers may not know Rate My Agent as well as other ones. But
And
it's
then
still
with Google, the more reviews you have, I assume that would pop you up higher. And I don't know if it's the same with Zillow, but that would pop you up higher in a search, organic search, right?
Correct. That is why it's so important, because most sellers are looking for listing agents via Google Maps. That's a stat within AR and that Google released. So that's why I push Google so much. I always try to look at the platforms that are being utilized the most, where consumers are, I call it consumer behavior, right? Where they're at. And it's just for that reason, Allison, that Google puts so much emphasis on the algorithm that the more reviews that you have and the geographic location mentions and things in there, you will be shown ranked higher in those searches. And it's really the same for all those platforms, even Zillow. If you're, got a, your goal should be to have the most Zillow reviews within your zip code or your market that you sell, because now you are the authority on that Zillow profile based on that area. So I know I talk a lot about Google, but don't forget that you still have to leverage these other platforms for sure.
Well, that's why you were talking about indicating the city or the zip or your
Yes.
geographic area, because that's going to help. So that makes a lot of sense. And then that's also why it's good to reply in a comment. So the client may say what a great experience they had with you selling their home. Then you can reply in something, yeah, it was a pleasure selling your home in Carlsbad.
Yes, exactly. And that piece right there is so, so important. So important. The other thing is, to your point, it's not really about reviews, but when we're talking about social media, how many comments do we get that we never reply to, right? It's as much as we don't want to believe it, social media was created to be social. And, we get a comment, right? That's one comment. We reply to that comment. Now we have 2 comments. They end up replying to that comment. Now we have 3 comments, and that's a conversation happening. Instagram or Facebook or whatever platform is now like, okay, Allison is interacting with us. We love this. So we're going to push that higher in the algorithm and maybe show that post in the discovery page. And all of a sudden your likes go up and all of a sudden you get a lot more reach. Okay. So it's always important to be interactive, whether it's reviews or just comments and posts in general. It's always important to be interactive with that. Any questions, guys? I know that is a ton of information. Again, I challenge you, take an hour this week, take 2 hours this week, set some time aside, do your online presence. I'll get that checklist over to the EOG team so they can disperse that out to you. And, focus on your reviews. Make sure, challenge you to get 10 new reviews this week. And that can include your replies. Go through and make sure that those replies are on. Right? Take a look at your Yelp, take a look at your Google, Zillow, make sure that you are replying.
I'm really excited about that online checklist.
Yes, I'll get that to you guys today.
There's so often that, for a pitch that I run, and it's an agent I don't know, and I'll Google them so I can find their photo and put their information. And I've had agents at the pitch say, I'm not at that brokerage, but that's what's all over Google when I search for them. So it is, or I hate that photo. It's like, well, that's the one that's on your LinkedIn. That's the one that's, on your brokerage website. So I'm really excited about being able to offer that tool that you have, Justin, to our team.
For sure. Yeah, and I'll get that to you guys today. Stacy said, my reviews are all on Zillow and I haven't responded to any of them. How far back would you respond to a review, right? Maybe, 10 years ago, it'd be a little weird if you're like, hey, it was so great working with you. I would go back 12 months to start with. Okay, that would be my starting point. I'd go back from 2022. If you don't have a ton there, I'd go back 2 years. Okay, but that's probably the farthest maybe that I would go. I might go a little bit further back, but again, just keep in mind, it might be a little odd. Or if they say something, you'd be like, hey, I'm just going through and doing an online, be honest with them. I'm doing an online audit and just refreshing my business for the new year. And if they ever say anything, but I'd go 12 to 24 months back. I would start there. So if you don't have enough, maybe you only had 2 or whatever it is for the last year, maybe you go back 1 more year and then, that'll be a little bit more substantial. Good question. Is everyone ready to run off and do their homework? I'm gonna ask on the next training.
Thank you. This was fantastic. This was really good.
Awesome.
I mean, they're all good, but this was great too.
I
Thank you,
appreciate it.
Justin.
Of course. If you guys have any questions, you can always reach out to your escrow options group team. They are here to help you guys. And like I said earlier, I think our next training is the 27th, I said. You can always go to eoguniversity.com, click on training schedule, scroll down there, Facebook ads to drive more traffic and generate leads. Again, this has been a much asked one after I made a post on Facebook of my current listing of how I drove 12,000 views to a property. So I'm going to definitely include that in this training. But a lot of good ways that you can leverage these target marketing on geographic locations to drive more traffic.
Justin, can you let everybody know exactly when and where you're going to be at the summit? So for those of you attending,
Yes.
you guys will have the opportunity to see Justin in person.
I'm very, very excited and lucky to be able to coach on 2 breakout sessions. You can always go to onesummit2023.com. And if I scroll down, it is going to be that Tuesday, the 21st and 22nd, 1 o'clock is going to be my breakout sessions. And it's going to be video marketing, how to grow your network with simple, powerful videos. I'm going to be in room number 5. Okay, that's Tuesday and Wednesday at 1 o'clock. I'll be in room number 5, and I'm having packets put together, tons and tons of inserts with, resources for you guys to easily start creating videos. And a lot of stuff I haven't actually put in trainings yet. So I'm super excited for some exclusive content. So hopefully I get to see you guys there. Otherwise, I hope everyone has an amazing week. Good luck with your homework. Let's get another escrow under our belt, and we'll see you in the next training.
Thank you, Justin.
Thank you.
pleasure.
Have a great week all.
Take care, everyone.
Bye-bye.